What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
The Roaring Game. We all love it, but sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. Don't get stuck in your curling club this year. Learn the game inside and out. Play for your favorite country and take the curling world by storm. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
All right, we're live here at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major, brought to you by Hub International Insurance. My name's Matt Yo, doing some commentating here for you this morning. Semi-final game, winner goes into the final against the winner of Team Brunner and Team Sliczynski. And we're just kind of chatting out here that this Netherlands team, I believe, has played every draw here this weekend, and they've got their money's worth getting the games in the early part of the season. Should be a good game. Team Kapp has qualified out of the A, so they've played the minimum amount of games, and they, along with Team Sliczynski, is qualified out of the A. So we have an A qualifier versus a C qualifier on sheet 4, our feature sheet here, and then we have a A qualifier and a B qualifier on sheet 5. Looks like it's going to be a pretty standard end. Hopefully they're looking for a little hit and roll to try to set up their deuce and not get forced here. We're up on Facebook and also on YouTube. Please hit share. Like, all that type of good stuff with our broadcast here today. Both these teams had an absolute fantastic quarterfinal. Each game came down to last rocks. Team Casper was trying a double angle raise and just missed it here to give Team Netherlands a steal and a berth into the semifinal here. And then as well as the Team Brunner that's playing in the other semifinal here. They had a draw to the button for 2 points and the win against Team Yanagisawa from Japan, and made that shot look incredibly easy. So great games that were in the semifinals, and we were really in for a treat here last night at 7 p.m. And I'm sure we will here at the Beaumont Curling Club in the city of Beaumont in Alberta, Canada. Brought to you by Hub International Insurance, as well as Tim's Ice Manufacturing, Hack to House Solutions. Anything that you need for curling and ice making, visit hacktohouse.com. Ice advice are ice sensors here in the ice that give us ice makers to the second data. Tells us what our ice is doing and how we can make the best surface possible for our athletes. And myself, my name is Matt Yo again with the Beaumont Curling Club, along with Hack to House, Alberta Curling Series, and Tim's Ice Manufacturing. So wearing a couple hats and a broadcaster. Wearing a couple hats today. Thank you very much, James Gordon, for doing all of the broadcasting and camera work the last few days. Next weekend, we have the Alberta Curling Series Major, Ladies Major. And the weekend after that, we have the Alberta Curling Series Junior event that's hosted and organized by Ryan Dudka, local guy here in Leduc, and his daughter Savannah curls on one of the very competitive U18 teams here in Alberta. And that one's going to be a fun weekend. We have each winner of that event, the men's and the women's, gets a berth into one of our Alberta Curling Series events in the season here. So big miss there by Team Netherlands, and now the deuce is in play. They're going to split the house rather than go around the center guard. If they go around the center guard, it's going to shrink the scoring area. So they just want to, first end, they just want to split the house as much as they can, and have a low pressure first end, not go around the corner guard or the center guard. Sorry. So yeah, down here at the Beaumont Curling Club, we have a couple big weekends. So this weekend here was the men's major. Next weekend was the ladies major. And the next weekend after that, September 29th, 30th, and October 1st, will be the junior major, which is going to have teams from all over Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, Northwest Territories. It's going to be an absolute phenomenal event. Look at our great sponsors in the ice there. We have Boston Pizza Beaumont, Hack to House Solutions, Hub International Insurance, Ice Advice, Tim's Ice Manufacturing. Me's Accounting is another great contributor to these events and our companies. For all your accounting needs, head to me'saccounting.ca. All right, little conversation here of what ice they want to pick, how hard they want to throw it here in the first end. They may have thrown one of these down here in the practice to see just how it's running in this area. So it looks like they're given, a good chunk of ice, probably a foot and a half ice. So it looks like they're probably trying to play it a little bit quieter than normal weight. Again, anyone on YouTube or Facebook, if you'd like to share, subscribe, like, all those good things on social media, that'd be much appreciated from the Alberta Curling Series here. Little update on Sheet 5, Sluchinski versus Brunner. Sluchinski has a peel weight shot here to blank the first end. Yeah, it just looked like a little bit too much ice on the shot call there. I think they wanted to more hit and roll in towards the center of the ice. So took quite a bit of ice there, but got the job done. Eliminate rocks, maybe hit it and roll with your last one behind that yellow guard, make the shot for 2 more difficult, and eliminate damage with the miss there from your third. Giving up the 2, is not the end of the world. Just a little bit of some information here. Kapp, the German team here, has missed the playoffs in a couple of their events here so far in the Brandon Masters in Braden, Euro Super Series also in Scotland. The Netherlands team here has played in 4 events. They've unfortunately missed the playoffs in all 4 events: the Braden Masters, the Euro Super Series event, and also the Oslo Cup. So they're both in the playoffs, fighting it out here in the semi-final, the Hub International Alberta Curling Series Major, playing for over $21,000 in the prize purse this weekend. We're playing for over $25,000 in the prize purse next weekend with the Ladies Major. So PO8 shot for Team Slaczynski for the blank. Looks like they're just cleaning it up here. So a little update on sheet 5. First end's over. Blank end. Team Slaczynski keeps the hammer going into this second end. All right, call here for Team Netherlands. Looking at a little bit of a hit and flop. Looks like they're trying to make this curl in the first end. Maybe took a little bit too much ice again. Yeah, just peeling out, giving the draw for 2. Again, after the miss, wide open miss there, this is, best case scenario, and they're just going to take the same turn that they just threw, throw right on the tee line for 2 points for Team Kapp. So far this season, Kapp has played 11 games with a win-loss record of 5 wins, 6 losses. No extra ends. 1-point games, they're 1-1 this year so far. Hammer efficiency, so they score 50% of the time. Steal defense, they only give up a steal about 30% of the time. So this is going to add to their hammer efficiency here. Get their deuce in the first end. Looks like they're just monitoring this on the way down the sheet. They've seen 2 or 3 draws here so far. This end, nice and great weight there. So 2 points for Kapp, 2-0 heading to the second end here at the Alberta Curling Series Major.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
All right, we're back here at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major, brought to you by Hub International Insurance. My name's Matt Yo, doing some commentating here for you this morning. Hope everyone's doing well out there. 10:02 in the morning. Looks like we started the games a touch earlier. If this is the right time, I didn't even notice. So yeah, 2 points for Benny Kapp in the first end. Huge shout out to huge shout out to our sponsor again, Hub International Insurance, for the weekend, this weekend, as well as Boston Pizza Leduc, Sea Change Leduc, the Beaumont Curling Club, huge partner with the Alberta Curling Series, Curling Stadium, who's doing the broadcast for us here this weekend. It's been a phenomenal 3-4 days. And we're super excited here for the semi-final between Team Netherlands and Team Germany. So I guess not Team Netherlands, Team Germany, but from the Netherlands, from Germany, Team Kapp and Team... I'm going to go back to my pronunciation for this one. Gosgens. Team Gosgens. And from the Netherlands. Sorry again, probably butchering that name, but gonna try a double here for Team Kapp. Looks like they've decided to change the call here. Since it is their own red rock, they can remove this rock off the center line. You just can't remove the other person's rock off the center line. Good shot there, removed everything out of play, left your center guard. Now, Netherlands has an opportunity to either peel the guard, hit and roll, or into the house, or come around, and he's decided to come around. Aggressive play in the second end is fantastic to see. Get some rocks in play. So a little hot there for the draw round, had it at 13-9 just through the house here. So that gives the opportunity for Team Kapp to put the pressure on up one. up to in the second end here. Probably looking in the neighborhood of around a 14.5, 14.6. That one there is 14.5, so that one's even going to come down a little bit past the tee line. So pretty quick this morning. Looks like they got her figured out though. Now the freeze attempt. So bring down the weight a little bit from what he just threw. Last rock just went through the house, so they're working on this one fairly hard. Looks like it's starting to come towards that center line pretty good. Trying to manage this rock down there. It looks like they might be on top of the guard. They are. So the case of heavies and the case of the light. So kind of pulled the string a little bit too much there. Looking for a nose hit to really put the pressure on here. All right, looks like we have someone helping us out here this morning. Matt Hall, welcome to the broadcast. So we got double Matts going on here.
Hey Matt, how's it going? Sorry for the slight delay this morning, but I'm here.
Oh. Yeah, it's great. Just had, sorry, I was a little quiet there for a bit. Just had my little girl Evelyn walk into the booth here with me, down here.
That's okay. Looks like we got a good matchup this morning, a nice international battle.
Yeah, absolutely. We looks like if we're sitting here and cheering for the Alberta or Canadian teams, looks like we only have one to cheer for right now. But these last couple games here, especially last night, both quarterfinal games were absolutely phenomenal matches. Came down to the last rock, both games, and phenomenal shots back and forth. So it was great to see.
Yeah, it looks like it's been a really good event. I've been sort of following along a bit from home throughout the weekend, and some really good teams here this weekend that didn't even make playoffs, which I think just goes to show how tough this field was.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi. Oh, we wanted to get a little high in there. So, yeah, no, it's been an absolutely phenomenal event. A lot of great teams that didn't make the playoffs. This Netherlands team we were just chatting earlier has played every single draw this weekend, I believe, and they've been battling it out. Once you obviously get to the C in a triple knockout, you have to play every game, and down to your last loss, and you're out of the event. But it's been great. We had a couple extra ends in the C finals as well. So. Yeah, it's been a good event. I'm happy to bring it here to the Beaumont Curling Club in the city of Beaumont, and we're happy to have a slate of 6 events here this year, as well as next weekend we have the ladies major, and that field is competitively strong as well. So.
Yeah, and it can be, I've done that seaside grind before, and it can be good and bad. You're out there a lot, so you really get to know the ice and get a good feel for how everything's doing, especially playing more games than maybe anybody else in the event. But at some point, you start to hit the wall. So we'll see if that ends up happening today at all, if they start to tire out a bit, or if they're going to be able to push through.
Yeah, absolutely. They, saying this is the beginning of the season for all these curlers and all these athletes. So maybe they have a little bit more gas in the tank, or conversely, like me, trying to work off some summer weight. That's for sure. So it looks like we probably have a hit and roll, try to roll in front of the red rock, lie to. make it a little bit tougher for the Team Netherlands there to make the double and stick it around.
Yeah, ideally, the less you can roll and be in, the better, I think. Just if you roll right in front of that other red, it'll be a fairly straightforward double, but probably don't want to try and be too precise. If you just roll in anywhere over there, it's going to be good enough.
Yeah, to be honest, and I was a touch shocked to hear this morning. Team Kapp, they're the higher ranked team in this game, so they got. We kind of do things maybe a touch differently. I'm not sure. You could probably tell me, Matt, here at the Alberta Curling Series, we try to give the higher ranked teams a little bit more of an advantage, just because they've kind of earned it. So they get actually the hammer and choice of rocks. The Germany team here, Team Kapp, decided to take the red rocks. So we were a little bit puzzled with that. There's only been one win with red rocks so far on this sheet this weekend. Maybe they have played on here and maybe they were the one win. I'm not sure, but we were a little bit puzzled that they took the red rocks. But we'll see how this is going to transpire for them.
Yeah, it's always an interesting. I mean, most events nowadays, especially, are trying to go in that direction. They want to reward the better play. Sometimes with pool play, it's difficult. You are in different pools, so you don't always face the same team, so it's tougher. But in a triple knockout, it's pretty clear who the higher ranked team is, and they can get that advantage. And yeah, it's. It could be that they were the one win with the red rocks on this sheet. Sometimes you look at, there's a lot of different factors you look at. Sometimes you look at who it was. If there was, maybe all the yellow wins were, big mismatched games, or there's a lot of other factors that might go into it. Maybe there was only the one game that was really sort of quote unquote like close between the skill levels of the teams, and maybe that was the one that the Red Rocks won, and that's what they saw. I don't know. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. Sometimes, yeah, Red might have only won one game, but you're really close with that team that won the Red Rocks, and you trust their analysis, and maybe they give you some info on the rocks, so you go with that. So there's a lot more things that go into it than just the win-loss record, but definitely. If you're not sure or you're not really close enough with many of the other teams, that win-loss record is an important factor.
Yeah, for sure. All right, looks like a nose hit for their one. Get on the board here.
Can't ask for a better start to the game if you're any Kapp. Take two and force, you're looking pretty good.
One of the things that we were discussing about last night with our members of the Alberta Curling Series here, Ted Appelman and Lindsay Birch, who play on obviously Ted's played on the series on the circuit for a long time, but Lindsay's playing in the circuit with Nancy Martin now this year, and last with in all the events. And we were talking about a little bit of time of play in these games, and maybe we'll touch on that in the next couple ends. But we have a couple interesting ideas I'd like to toss your way, because obviously you're a high level competitor, and want to see what your opinions would be on this as well. So 2-1,
absolutely.
Team Kapp taking the lead into the third end with Hammer here at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major, brought to you by Hub International Insurance.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
All right, we're back here. Matt Yo with Matt Hall. The 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major brought to you by Hub International Insurance. And like you're saying, Benny Kapp, that probably the best start that they could have for the semifinal here. Getting 2 in their first end and forcing in the second and taking the hammer in the third end here.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start to see some rocks in play. You know, if you're the Netherlands team, you can't really wait all that long. It's only an 8-end game, and you're already sort of behind the 8 ball now, being down 1 without. So tosses up the center guard here. I think we'll see some rocks in play. They'll try to force some angles. Ideally get a force out of Benny Kapp here, and then try to work the scoreboard back the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've been watching this team quite a bit here this weekend. They're quite entertaining team to watch. They can make some real high quality shots. And then it seems like, you know, the beginning of the year, there could be a wide open miss as well. It seems like they're all over the sheets here this weekend with the you know, with such a high level competition, unbelievable shots, and then also the beginning of the year creeps into one or two shots here and there. But it almost seems like this team really excels when they start putting a lot of rocks in play. Last night against Team Casper from the US there, they had probably 12, 13 rocks in play every end, and they were just making the angles, making great freezes and draws, and we'll see what transpires over the next 6 ends here. But yeah, it seems like the more rocks in play, the more fine their shot making becomes. So
yeah, and this Gosgens team, they have been around for quite a while. You know, they definitely have the experience, a number of World Men's Championships, a couple slams, I believe, and they're all very talented curlers. I think one of the issues for them the last number of years has been getting that playing time and getting that extra time on the ice underneath them. So the fact that they're here, that they're doing this tour in Canada now, is really good to see for them. A very talented set of curlers, and I know the Dutch program has put in a lot of work over the last number of years, and you have been seeing it paying off. They seem to get better and better every season, and now they're doing this tour more and more, and getting that more experience underneath them, so that when they get to the World Championships and maybe slams later in the season, they're able to compete a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I was chatting with their coach earlier this weekend and saying that how they're planning on actually bringing in a few curlers from their second team and get them some experience and help the program out that way this year as well. So that was really interesting to hear, and what they have planned for this season. So I did meet these guys. I believe it was the 2017 Worlds in Edmonton. It was their first Worlds, and you know, that was a few years ago now. 17, I can't remember. But I was the head of Rocks and Ice for that event, and they were having a blast. And playing in the event is also being a part of the patch for the first time. They really had their eyes opened up to, you know, what curling in this country is definitely like.
Well, I remember my first patch.
Absolutely. So yeah, I want to toss some, because we've had a couple 3-hour 8N games this weekend, and it kind of seems like we're running 6 of these events, and most of these events are round robin formats and pool formats. So we have to condense many games in 4, sometimes 5 draws into a day to make things work. So we're really running into a problem with the length of the game that some of these some teams play. It seems like there's I wouldn't say 3-4 regular teams that like to play a longer game, but maybe I will say that. But one of the thoughts we had, I know it's it's coming from an ice maker side of things, where we want to try to get the best surface for every game possible. Sometimes we're having to jump the scraper from sheet to sheet. Sometimes we're not even able to pebble to scrape the sheet in between games, just because they're going so late. And we're trying to get the best training and surface for these athletes that we can possibly get. So I get to touch frustrated also when I've curled, not at the highest level as you guys, but a couple of national events and stuff. But I think I tried to keep our 8N games under 2 hours, and maybe even a little bit too fast. But one of the conversations we had, and probably a little bit too aggressive, was, especially in pool play, that if your game lasts longer than 2 hours and 20 minutes in an 8N game, both teams lose hammer for the next game. If both teams in the next game have lost hammer because both teams played over 2 hours and 20 minutes, it would be a flip of the coin for hammer, and then your game starts at the same time as the other team's practices start. So that means that your game will be hopefully on time. Probably a touch aggressive coming from an ice maker standpoint.
Yeah. I was trying to think of how to nicely disagree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, definitely, pace of play has been an issue for a long, long time, and there's definitely I'll say repeat offenders about it, and the people that you have been an issue. But sometimes when you're playing in an event like this, I've been trying to really sort of say for the last number of years especially, that I don't think the 2-hour 8-end game image that everybody has in their mind is a realistic standard to go by. Maybe like sort of at the club level, or something with a bit less competitive. But when you're talking about sort of the top teams in the world, and the sort of, especially with 5-rock rule and no tick rule, we're making the game more aggressive by nature. So you're gonna have more complicated situations, and it's gonna take a little longer. Now, I'm not saying that 3 hours is right either. I think that's probably a little long. I think you're looking at maybe, I think 2:15 is probably a more
right
realistic.
2:20. That's
2:15, 2:20 is probably more of a realistic idea to have in your head. Now, what's the solution to that? I guess the easiest one to say is, if you want to keep them on time, put them on a clock. And I think that's the sort of, from the player perspective, I think that's what it is. Now, that comes with its own issues as well. You need volunteers, or you need to train those volunteers and let them know what they're doing, and so that it's still done fairly. There's a lot of other things that come into it. I don't know what other possible solutions you could have. The issue with, a lot of the times it is both teams' fault, but I've been in a lot of games where, on both sides, where we were the problem, or other teams are the problem, where you're playing as fast as you can, and the other team just, for some reason, has to have a team meeting about every shot, right? Like,
yeah.
So to penalize both teams can kind of get into a bit of an issue. To put a time limit on the games, like, your last end has to start before a certain time, then you get to the issue where a team might slow roll you.
Yeah, we talked about a buzzer, right, in a league way, but then slow roll if you're up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think the only real, like, true solution to it is, to put them on a clock. But this early in the season where teams are still sort of trying to get used to each other, and the sort of technical issues of finding volunteers and training them to do that is sort of another hurdle entirely. So I don't really know what the answer is, but
I think if we would know the answer, we probably would have solved it many years ago. But it's just for a guy that's trying to run these events and keep them on time and trying to again, I feel terrible as an ice maker as well as as a competitor in some of these events where it's like if you're out there for 3 hours, you're like, the teams that are coming on after you should be hunting you down in the locker room telling you, hey, like, you need to hurry up, like, all you did now is make the ice crappy for us. It's kind of a gentleman's sport where everything that you do on the ice is going to affect the team that's coming on after you. We had a couple teams this weekend that I agree with you that one team was really slow, and we actually had a player on the other team have a lay down on one of the benches, right? So it's like at that point it's you need to be self-aware of what's happening. If you're always the last team out on the ice every game, every draw, you might want to take a look in the mirror and say, I need to be better for the other people that are in this event, not just for me. That's where I think some of it's lost on the competitors or the teams that are a little bit slow, that that you're really affecting the other people in the event, and you need to take onus on yourself to try to speed up a little bit. But again, I don't want to rant on it too much as a part of a host and part of an ice maker, but I think it needs to be out there that we need to think of everybody in the event and help out the ice makers and everything else that are trying to make the best conditions possible and really try to speed it up a little bit. But
absolutely, I think it is a respect thing from the teams themselves, but as we continue to make the game, bring in new rules to make the game more aggressive with sort of 5 rock rule. I think the 2-hour game is sort of reasonable, maybe 5-6 years ago.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%.
But now that we have 5 rock rule and no tick rule, and just we're inherently making the game more complicated, more aggressive, more things to think about. Even say no tick rule, if that adds an extra couple seconds to the lead's mind when they're sitting in the hack to remember to get out to the broom or something.
Yep.
It adds up over time, right? And it adds up over the course of an entire day. So it's things teams know about, but just that little bit of extra time they have to spend thinking about these things makes a difference. So again, it comes down to the event. It comes down to how much control they want to have. You could always throw some kind of a time limit on teams, but I think there's always drawbacks to it.
We were even toying with the idea of Ted Appleman and myself of bringing iPads on the ice and the teams take their times, right, and kind of almost do it like a chess match. Obviously there probably wouldn't be any ramifications for it because of not officiated and all that type of stuff, but then it gets the teams aware of maybe even have, like, I was a professional golfer, and when we played in events, we actually had times that our average time length of round that we had in every one of our events as a pro. And so you could see that as fellow professionals and look and be like, oh, I'm playing with Matt Yo today. Like, man, this guy, his average round is 4.5 hours, like, right? Yeah. And my average round is 3 hours and 45 minutes. So like that actually brought a lot of onus onto yourself and the competitors in the professional golf side. So, something along the lines of that. But anyways, so third end here. Sorry, we've been chatting about other stuff. It's been pretty a simple end anyways, but we have a blank opportunity, which is probably another fantastic way to start the game for Team Kapp, where it's just get 2, force them to 1. Now get the blank in the third end. Now you have the hammer in the even end coming home in the fourth end. They're playing real well at the moment.
Yeah, it's everything you could really ask for. More blanks are just going to help out Benny Kapp that much more. So, He's happy to take this. Sweeper seemed to like it out of his hand as he comes down. And he'll make contact and roll out for the blank. So yeah, we'll continue on a 2-1 game for Benny Kapp. He'll have the hammer when we come back after this commercial break.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so, I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come, so.
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
What job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
What was that? Or no? All right, we're back here. 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major brought to you by Hub International Insurance. Matt Yo here with Matt Hall. Had some awesome conversation about some time limits and trying to speed up the pace of play for some non-officiated events.
And no solutions made.
No solutions are made. No. Usually we can solve the world problems, but not today. All right, well, 2-1 for Benny Kapp coming into the fourth end with hammer. So even ends with hammer right now. So great start to the game. And like you said, the previous end, I would probably think we might get some rocks in play with the center guard going up, going around it, and now the freeze game is on.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to at some point. I mean, it's not the end of the world to give up a blank in 3, probably not in 4. Maybe even 5, but at some point you got to do something if you're the Gosgens team. So they're going to continue to try and make these freezes, try to make things complicated for Benny Kapp. Benny will try to simplify things as soon as he can, and we'll see which sort of side of it wins out. But I would expect at some point we'll see a number of rocks in play. I think the ice, this is my first one I'm commentating, but I've been sort of checking in throughout the week. For the event here. It looks as though the ice has been fairly susceptible to aggressive play. There's some nice curl. The speed seems, pretty good from what I've seen. So I think at some point, once they really decide to go for it, we will see some complicated situations and some rocks in play. But that's not going to be what Team Kapp wants. They have the advantage and they have the hammer, so they're going to try and keep things simple.
Yeah, absolutely. A little update here on the other semifinal between Team Sliczynski and Team Brunner. Team Sliczynski had a blank opportunity in the third end as well, but ended up nosing it. So they took their point, and they're up 1-0 in the fourth end without hammer. So yeah, no, the ice. Earlier in the week, we were just chatting about it here. Huge shout out goes to the city of Beaumont and their team and their staff here helping us out this season. As we wanted the ice in about 10 days earlier than what we planned, but we had a big brine leak well, not a leak, but they took all the brine out of the floor this summer. And then the tanks that they had it in, the company that had it in, they all leaked over on the sheet 1 and 2. So we had about 500 gallons of brine sitting in the sheets for about a week to 10 days before they
Ice maker's nightmare.
Oh my God. So they cleaned it up for probably a solid 10 days. The guy out there was putting some elbow grease into it. But, you know, once the plant kicks back on, that concrete contracts and pushes more of the brine, which is for those of you watching out there, it's a heavy salt solution. And it pushes it back to the top, and you really can't freeze water on it very well. So we had to bring in a whole bunch of hot water and floor scrubbers and people with squeegees, and did that for about 3 or 4 days. And then once we kind of got that under control, we actually found some air bubbles in the lines over on sheet number 6. So those are slowly working out of the system, which it actually has gotten tremendously better over the last little bit here. We only had 1 game on sheet 6 this weekend, and the team that came off said, you know what, actually it was fantastic. So that huge shout out goes out to the city of Beaumont, Andrew and Andre and his staff, their team. Put in a lot of effort with us to try to get this ready. So we actually just got it in here on Tuesday, a couple days before the event. So we've been working on it, been chatting with all the teams quite regularly to see if there's any problem areas or you know, anything that they're finding. And we had a couple issues on sheet number 2, not issues, but you know, a couple tricky spots which we've since worked out. And so far, I was just talking to my wife earlier today that, you know, it's not a 10, but I think it's probably a 7.5, 8 at the beginning of the season. We had about 14.5 seconds, 4 feet of curl. Tendency to be a little bit release sensitive here at the beginning of the year, but all in all, the players have been happy with it. So I haven't been able to, or haven't had to drink too many scotches to make me feel better about it. So it's been good.
Well, yeah, sounds like there's been a lot of work going into it, a lot of probably late nights and early mornings. So I applaud all ice makers in general, but definitely when you got to deal with stuff like that, it probably makes for quite a nightmare, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's we're lucky at Tim's Ice Manufacturing to have such a good crew of guys as well. Justin Runsman, who's been the head ice maker for this event here, as well as Logan Yo. Kyle Winters, my business partner for Tim's Ice. We're in the midst of installing 3 more clubs here in the next week, so he's been out and about. But yeah, big shout out to Tim's Ice crew, Justin and Logan, for really putting a lot of effort. And we always call it the 25-hour day sometimes of getting things ready. So a few more rocks in play this end. Looks like he's gonna try a high hard one.
One miscue from the Benny Kapp team sort of led to this. They tried to get around that center guard and remove yellow stone. They were a little wide and kept the yellow around, so really gave the opportunity for the Gosgens team to lock this up. They toss up the guard there. I think it's just because it's a little early in the end to really try and make a push. So, let's see here.
Jammy.
I think that's pretty good, though. They stuck that red rock in for second shot. That yellow is still pretty much buried, but it's really up to Wouter what he wants to do here. You likely can't access that yellow stone at the moment. So there's 2 real ways you can go about this. You can go around the red guard or the yellow guard. If you're going around the yellow guard, you might risk leaving something in the hole. Benny could probably come through that hole with the out turn and make some sort of a light hit, maybe set something up this way. But going around the red isn't all that much of a gimme either. Even if you make it, you're leaving pretty straight run back for the Kapp team, and possibly with a double to remove both your rocks, and that wouldn't be good. So they've decided to go this way, try to ideally put this on the tee line. I think you want as much separation between the guard and this rock as possible.
Yeah, 100% agree with you for sure. Looks like it's coming in pretty good here. Yeah, I find once this Once this Gosgens team gets going, their draw weight and their precision for the draws is fantastic.
And I think that's always been their strength. Like you said, the sort of the more complicated the situation, the more accurate they seem to become, or better at it. Not to say that they can't throw a high hard one either. Every team at this level can, but everyone has their sort of preferences or specialties, and I do think the draw is theirs.
Yeah, and you're seeing that over here on sheet 5, the other semifinal, where both teams love throwing the high hard ones. Oh, it's going to take out their own back one here. That was a big miscue.
Yeah.
Almost hit it on the wrong side, eh?
Yeah, definitely the tolerance there, and we talk about that a lot at this level, was to hit that a little bit on the high side. You want to roll away. Taking out your own really isn't the problem with that result. Obviously, you would have liked not to do that, but that rock back 8, you're going to struggle to bring that into play most ends anyways. What the real issue was just hitting that a hair low and rolling to the center line. You now have that slight stagger on the guards in the middle. Yellow's sitting 2 in the forefoot. They can guard this up. Yes, Benny might be able to at some point make a draw into the forefoot to try and start to save the end, but if Gosgens ever gets the opportunity to sink one around there, then you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost again bringing back the golf reference, right, where you want to miss it. If you do make a miss, you probably want to miss that on the outside of the rock rather than the inside.
Yeah, it's really similar. Sometimes I was actually out on a golf round this morning or yesterday morning actually, excuse me. Sometimes that pin position where left you're still on the green and anything right you're in the deep rough, and so you got to think about that before you throw or before you take your shot. It's a very similar situation. Almost every shot, one way of missing is better than the other, and that's just, everybody always wants to make the shots, but if you can keep that in your brain as you're throw it to your sweepers or just be on that right side of the inch, it leads to, a lot of extra points. It can lead to much better situations down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Little conversation here, depending on, I think the first original call was the intern draw around the center guards to the top forefoot, which, being up one with the hammer might be a fairly aggressive call. But if made, fantastic. I think that the group at the far end was thinking maybe more of the run back, open it up again here, and see if they can rip one of those ones off the forefoot.
Yeah, I'd be taking a long look at some of these guards. I was almost thinking, I don't know if that yellow one over on the side's really the issue. I was looking at maybe double peeling the center guards, the yellow and the red.
Mm-hmm.
That would open things up for you, maybe give you some opportunities to make a tap. This works as well, but really those center guards are really the problem for you. And at some point, whenever you decide to play that draw, you're really putting everything on the line. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just rips the one, so it does open up the rocks in the forefoot, but it's sort of a game of chicken. At some point, somebody's going to switch up, whether it's Gosgens or Kapp, somebody's going to try to make that draw to the top of the forefoot. I thought Wouter might be able to try here, but
I was just thinking that, if he looped one around there and just went, biting top 4 right on the center line, that'd be a pretty good shot.
Yeah, skips rocks seems. I think if you toss up the guard here, Benny's definitely playing the draw.
Yeah.
And then if he makes a good one, then he's got a good chance at 2, and you're trying to stop him. Whereas it's just a little late in the end now. I think you have that free opportunity to go around, and Benny can't waste any more time trying to make a double or something like that. So either way, decides to toss up the guard here. Not wrong. Benny's still got to make a good one, but at this level, you expect them to make it.
We talked about that a lot here a couple draws ago, is that there's always usually 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 shots available for you. None may not be wrong if you make them all.
Yeah.
That's a good shot. And as you predicted, right?
Much, yeah. At this point, even if you make sort of a double peel he might open things up a bit more for Benny's last, but then he's still playing for 1. I think if you make a good draw here, you're looking at a pretty good chance for 2. So might as well give her a go. Try to put it top button, even full top 4. You want to be shot, and then you're going to be looking pretty good.
Try to get a time on it here. See what it's like in the 4th end. Update on sheet 5 there. The Team Brunner made a unreal nice little tap back around the guard, tapped it back button. I believe there was a measure, and they got their 1. So 1-1. Go heading into the 5th end with Sliczynski and Brunner. With 13-9 on that one, so that's probably gonna, scoot through the house.
And that's a big missed opportunity there. Now you're in a lot of trouble. Wouter doesn't even need to necessarily make a good shot here. Ideally, you put it sort of biting top 4, block everything for Benny. Even if he, say, comes up light, tosses up a tight guard, top 12.
That's what I was thinking, is like, I don't know if you want to go there, because that may make that red run back, if that's the only shot he's got, easier if they go top 4, eh?
Yeah, you're definitely right. I think there is enough room to get pretty close to nose on that red one, so you might be right. Yeah, like top 12.
Like right there is probably not the best spot for it. Right, top 12, almost wide open, would make a real tough either hit and roll off the side, 12-foot one, or you're tapping the red one with draw weight to the button. So
yeah, I'm keeping a good eye on that yellow rock side 12. You could make the straight roll. You also have a pretty good catcher with that rock back 4. So. Big chance now for Wouter Gosgens in this game. Put a good rock here, and you got a pretty good chance to take a lead, or you're gonna at the very worst have your force already.
Should have a pretty good idea of weight here, as he just saw one come down the sheet.
Sweepers are on it, so definitely not heavy, which is good.
Yeah, I got 15-8, so definitely not probably in the rings, but that's, we were just talking about that, right? There's probably your if you want to call it a professional miss, or on where you want to air. That's a good shot. It's gonna take a real good hit and roll here. Like I said, he's got a couple catchers, but also there is that hole that is big enough for a rock to go through. So hit and roll here for their 1.
Big spot in this game here for Benny Kapp. You can make this one, and you sort of take your 1 and move on to the rest of the game. You'll be more than happy. Hopefully don't get yourself into too many more of these situations later in the game.
Yeah, the big turnaround, I think, was when that peel weight shot by the Kapp team hit the inside of the rock instead of the outside. That really turned this end around.
Sweepers are staying close. He might have a good shot here.
Great shot. Great shot. Fantastic. Skipper bails himself out and the team. 3-1. Kapp over Gosgens, heading into the 5th end here at the Alberta Curling Series Major, brought to you by Hub International Insurance.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
And we're back here from the Alberta Curling Series Major, coming to you live from Beaumont, Alberta. Just taking a quick fourth and break here for the teams as they recap what has to be pretty, you have to feel, if you're the Benny Kapp team, that you dodged a bullet there in that last one. Looking at 3 rocks for Gosgens on their last rock, Benny Kapp able to make a brilliant in-off double and stick around in the forefoot to score their 1 point. So I'm sure they're having a bit of a discussion on how they need to avoid putting themselves into that situation again, maybe what went wrong in that last end. And if you're the Gosgens team, I think you take a lot of confidence from that. You know that you can get sort of chances against this team, that you were able to execute a brilliant end there, which would have resulted probably in a steal of 2 if not for a great shot there by the skipper on the German side. So just, if you're the Gosgens team, just try to keep status quo, keep going at it, a couple more ends like that. Maybe you give yourself an opportunity to get back into this game. These teams have played a fair bit already this year. Benny Kapp with 2 events, the Baden Masters in Baden, Switzerland, and the Euro Super Series in Stirling, Scotland. Team Gosgens playing in both those events, as well as the Oslo Cup in Norway, late August into September. Both of these teams in all of those events missed the playoffs, so this is the first playoff appearance for these 2 teams on the tour this season. I'm sure both of them would like to make it to at least a finals appearance, if not a championship, but to do that, they're going to have to win here this afternoon. is sort of what we've been alluding to, that at some point the Gosgens team wasn't going to be able to sort of wait forever. They finally got the hammer back, and now with a center guard up by Benny Kapp, we have a corner guard thrown by the Dutch squad, and we're going to have the opportunity to see some rocks in play. Maybe a couple more this end. Team Kapp will probably go around the center, and then it's decision time for Gosgens team. Will they, depending on where this rock is, they may play the freeze around the center, may ignore it, go around the corner. 5 rock rule, a couple different options that you can try to implement here. This rock maybe just a bit overswept by the sweepers, slips just to the back 8 foot. And yeah, with that rock not in a great position, Gosgens is gonna go around the corner. Matt has returned to us.
Yes, we're back. Sorry, we have a smell in our lobby. There's a concession that's attached to the hockey rink, and they're doing some cleaning and stuff. So just trying to figure out where the chlorine smell came from, and that's what it is. So.
All right, no worries.
Not too many people down there other than me, but that's all right. So 5th end here, eh? So, wow, what a shot in the 4th there to really keep control of this game.
Yeah, we're going to see some rocks in play here, maybe a couple more than we've even seen. Gosgens, after the center guard, wastes no time, tosses up the corner, and Benny Kapp's just slipping a little bit deep on their second draw there to the back 8 foot, and a great come around by the Gosgens lead, and we've got a game on.
So if they're planning on playing this out-turn tap, this is kind of where the teams have been caught a little bit. They said, it seems like when they are a little bit up weight in this spot, it seems like it doesn't curl quite as much. So let's see this again. This Kapp team's come through the A, so they've only played 3 games so far, but looks like they've managed it pretty well, and they're going to tap that out of the rings. I don't know if they got it out, did they? Come on, Jamesy. Oh, just a nibbler.
And I'd actually like to correct myself. I just got a message on Twitter from James Rung that I was wrong. Benny Kapp is actually not the 4th rock thrower for this Kapp team out of Germany. He is the 3rd rock thrower. It was Mark Muskatovitz that made that great shot in the 4th end for the single. So thanks, James, for pointing that out to me. My apologies, Mark, but all the credit goes to Mark, I guess, for that shot.
Beautiful thing about technology, right? You're broadcasting, I believe you're Saskatchewan?
Yes, out of Saskatoon. So I just got the sort of overhead feed here. Don't get a good look at all the these are 2 teams I'm not all that familiar with to begin with, to be quite honest, but don't get a good look at the back of their jerseys all the time.
Yeah, so it's right. You're in Saskatoon. I'm in Beaumont. They're broadcasting. James, I think, is in Regina. James, where are you from again? I can't remember. And then Jerry's given us updates for Curling Zone and some information out of Ontario, and we're broadcasting this. And we had guys from the Netherlands telling me how to pronounce their names the last time I did a broadcast, and I just stopped trying because I just said, I freeze water for a living. This is not going to help. Martinsville, near Saskatoon, is James. So beautiful thing about technology and what they can do here at Curling Stadium to bring some curling action to everyone around the world. It's awesome.
We've come a long way from just refreshing Curling Zone every 10 minutes to see if a score popped up.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, huge shout out to some of our sponsors, obviously, here at the Alberta Curling Series. We have Sea Change Brewery here in Beaumont, Hub International Insurance, Ice Advice that has their sensors in the ice for our ice makers, Hack to House here in Edmonton that has all your curling products as well as all your ice making products as well. Reach out to hackthehouse.com. They actually started blade sharpening out here in Western Canada, so done a phenomenal job and saving some clubs some money on some shipping and also some turnaround time. So hackthehouse.com for all of your information there. along with the Beaumont Curling Club and the City of Beaumont. So some great sponsors for the events, as well as sponsors here at our local curling club. If anyone is out there in the curling community that has a business or frequents one regularly and wants to tell them to reach out to the curling club and get some advertising, some sponsorship, it's pretty inexpensive. You know, our wall signs are $300 a year. That scoreboard sign that you see back there is $400 a year. And every dollar really counts for our non-for-profit organizations of these curling clubs. So reach out as an ice maker. Like I said, I don't want to see any mean or mad texts to me, but as an ice maker, if you get us an ice logo, we can put that thing in any time of the season. So reach out to your local businesses, ask them to sponsor the curling club, as well as when you're out at the local hall. Great shot. When you're out at your local businesses, mention to them that you saw their logos at the local curling club. So it really helps our sport out. So, fantastic shot there while I was rambling on.
I was just waiting for you to finish the sponsorship pitch so I could talk about how much trouble Benny's team has found themselves in again. But then a great run back there by Benny to pick off that Yellowstone. They still got some work to do. That draw that they played around earlier in the end slipped a little bit deep onto the tee line. So still room for Gosgens to now come back once again and make this freeze, although it's a very tough freeze. Having them try to make it twice in a row is going to be tough, but they can put it in a good spot here. They still have a chance for 2 setting up.
Looks like they're pointing to the sky a little bit, which is the universal sign of a little heavy.
It's okay if it can stay on, but yeah, it just slips by that red, and now a great chance for Team Kapp to sort of lock this down. You want to be a little careful here. I was a bit surprised to see them go around the corner earlier in the end. I thought they might toss up a tight guard to sort of choke it off. Still an option here. I think you almost want to try to play this to not get fully buried. I think you want to leave it maybe half or a third open on the center line side. Ideally just like top 8, top 12. I think if you slip right back down to that red, yes, it's still a better situation, but still leaves the opportunity for Wouter to follow you down and make a good corner freeze to set shot. So try to keep this professional miss just a little bit higher, maybe a little bit on the open side, and just try to choke off the chance for the Dutch to make a good corner freeze around it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. I was broadcasting with our president here, Paul Hyde from the Beaumont Curling Club, earlier this week, and it was funny. We were talking about a couple of his comments, and they play on a Thursday night team that he always says they're lucky to win 4 games a year. So it's interesting when we get to this level of rock placement is absolutely key, and a lot of teams there would think let's just dead bury behind that corner guard, but then that opens up another option to freeze and whatnot. So really important in this level to keep your rocks in a position that can be used later.
Yeah, and you can see there, that's pretty much the line I was talking about, but slips a little bit, probably a couple feet deeper than I was saying, and now leaves the opportunity for a very difficult run back double. But if it's made, then you might be looking at some trouble if you're the Germans. But just a little bit tight, misses everything. That double is still available, so if you're Benny, got to keep that in the back of your mind. You could toss up the guard, or you could try to wrap another rock around the yellow guard. I think guarding makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that they're going to be running a red rock into that pile rather than the yellow rock that they had up there previously. So I think a little tight guard would be the right call here.
Really not thinking about a steal if you're the Germans in this situation. The 4 foot's open, and you would expect someone of Wouter's caliber to be able to draw the 4 foot 9 times out of 10, but just keep guarding this, and you get your force, you get the hammer back, and you're moving into the last 3 ends up 1 width. That's really all you could ever ask for. I remember a great interview.
Sorry, just watching Team Stachinski here just make an angle pick double to lie one. What a shot there on sheet 5. Man, there's some good curling happening here this weekend.
Yeah, there's both games going on. I think anybody that is here can hop over to the other game to check it out every now and then. Not sure if there's commentary over there, but if you get a little bit tired of our voices, you could go for a little break. Hopefully you come back at some point. But I was just going to say, I remember a sort of interview way back in the day with the great Jeff Stoughton, where somebody asked him, is a skips a draw to the 4-foot to win a game or a championship, is that a skip's dream? And his response was, I remember, well, I think a skip's dream is shaking after 6 ends, but a draw to the 4-foot's probably second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that guard not quite getting to where they wanted, so I think there's the opportunity to maybe follow it back, and not sure if you could get enough to the inside with enough weight to sit shot stone, but if you could bump that top red out and maybe just sit right above the other red, Benny probably has to guard it, or else he's risking giving up, leaving maybe a short run back or something for multiple.
Yeah, I think it probably maybe like a hack weight here. Is that what they're
that would seem to make sense to me. I don't see, you would have to get slightly to the inside with probably like border control weight to like make the double, and I don't know if there's enough room to do that. So I think, next best thing is just remove the top one with whatever weight you think that you can sort of get to nose, or just stick right there. Hack probably works. Might be able to throw something less, like just enough to push it through, but
so the players have been saying that this turn on sheet 4 is a little bit more of the curly turn, about 2 inches more. Great shot there.
Yeah, I actually got pretty close to moving that red,
touching
that red stone. If it came up a little bit more, you didn't have to push that red stone far to sit too. But yeah, again, just as I was saying, Wouter is sitting shot, and I think you have to guard it. You could draw you don't want to draw around the red because you might leave a short run double. You could go to the other side of the 4-foot, but you always risk, if you ever leave it like top 4, you leave a little double for 3. So I think you sort of just have to swallow your pride, toss up the guard. If Wouter wants to take on something like some kind of run back for 2, he can, but he's always running back your color. So I think it's just one of those ones where you guard it up and you let the Dutch decide how much risk they want to take with it.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, right, it's only 3-1. So I don't know if they did motion over to that corner guard running into the red rock, but only being down 2 at this point of the game, you're probably not taking the risk on for that. But so if you get this guard in the right position, you're probably going to just draw for 1 in the 4-foot rather than risk going down 3. So guard is definitely I think the right call in this instance.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. You definitely don't have to play the run back if you're the Dutch team, but I think going down 1 with 3 ends to play is not a good situation either. I'll go through my numbers here and actually pull it up. So I do think it's at the point in the game where you at least talk about if you want to play the run back or not.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't play it, that's fine, but looks like he's not going to worry about it. He's just going to play the draw. But just pulling up the numbers here, for about this caliber, being down 1 without, you have about a 16% chance to win. Whereas if you are able to make the run back, you're still not great. You still have about a 35% chance to win. So I think it comes down to really, that's about a 50% difference. So if you think you make that run back around 50% of the time or more, I think it's worth taking it on. Otherwise, yeah, you probably just draw for one, and you know you're not in a good place. But you know you still have about that 16-17% chance of making it, of winning the game after that.
Yeah, I was chatting with Kurt Drummond here after they won the A final. They were down, I believe, 3, maybe 4 after the first 3 ends. And, I said, great game. Like, wow, great sticking with it. What did you guys do to kind of, keep with it? He said, well, we made 32 perfect shots after that. So if you do make 32 perfect shots after that, you're probably in a good spot. But 3-2 going into the 6th end, they're probably in the neighborhood of needing to make every shot this end to try to get the force 1 or even a steal. And we'll be back in the 6th end, the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Men's Major, presented by Hub International Insurance.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
All right, we're back here at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major, sponsored by Hub International Insurance. Fantastic game going on here. 3-2 heading into the 6th end with Hammer for Team Kapp, and good center guard put up here, right on the center line, so can't touch it with the no tick rule. I believe it was on the center line. Maybe I misspoke, but
yeah, and Benny's team is definitely in control of this game. I mean, being up 1 with in the 6th end is very good. You have about 84% chance to win in general, but it hasn't really been a dominating performance, I would say, or definitely not without chances for the Gosgens team. That if not for that great shot by Mark Muskatovitz in the 4th end, even that last end, there were a couple moments where it looked like the Dutch team might have something going, and Benny was just able to get out of it.
Yeah, and sort run back double.
Yeah, his escape with the force. So I think if you are the Gosgens team, you shouldn't be feeling like you're out of this. You got to just keep making shots, keep giving yourselves these opportunities, and you're in the point of the game where if Benny's team keeps playing well, you're probably not going to win anyways. But you keep giving yourself those chances. If you get a little miss here, a little miss there, then you might be able to get something going.
Yeah, absolutely right. Your key is here to make 8 in a row to this end, and if the other team makes 8 in a row, then congratulations. But you still need a miss, right? Here and there, but you still need to make majority of your shots when you're in this position. So, little update here as well on Team Stachinski versus Team Bruner. Sluchinski made a great tap back with his last shot to get 2 in the 5th end, so they go up 3-1 after 5 ends. So heading into the 6th end, up 3-1 without the hammer for Team Sluchinski. Got my little girl here at work here today.
I can see her. Is that her running around in the back?
Yeah,
in the background
back
of the
and
game
forth,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's. I think we need to buy her a pair of new shoes every 2 months. I don't think she ever walks anywhere, but definitely doesn't get that from me. Yeah, it's fun to have the little girls out here. They were throwing rocks on sheet 6 on Tuesday when the teams were out here practicing and running around and making everyone laugh. So it's always fun. Fun sport, curling, right?
Get them started early. Get them
Yeah.
get them to the club. Get them used to it. A big shot here by Hup Van Dorp just rolls off. If you make that freeze, you really solve a lot of potential problems for the rest of the end. But now, if the Germans can make a good hit and roll here, you might be putting the game on the line here in the 6th. Maybe that rock grabbing a little bit as he was sliding out. You saw a little bit of a jerk back and forth, but looks to be pretty close to the line. Sweepers are staying close.
Oh, great shot.
Beautiful. Couldn't ask for much better. And now I don't know. Well,
in trouble.
I guess, yeah. You got to decide here if you're the Gosgens team. Do you sort of sell the farm and try to, go for something here in the 6th? I
The old
don't think
intern
so.
draw to the button at the point.
Yeah, I mean, you might have that in mind for like your skips rocks, but I don't know what you would do in the meantime. So I think, you got to try and blast here, maybe escape, force the Germans here, get a deuce back in 7, and maybe think about stealing 8 now. Just sort of whiskers everything over to the side, leaves the guard up.
That rock top 12 maybe is saving grace a little bit, but that's still not a great result.
Yeah, you could always slash that in if you're Gosgens. I'm not sure if you get rid of only 1 red rock or 2. It's probably only 1, so you're probably not too worried about that if you're Kapp. I don't know. I'd take a long look at maybe drawing the open side.
Yeah,
You might leave sort of a cross house like double onto the back one, which is the only thing I'd be worried about. The only other shot I might be able to see is if you could throw that wide out turn draw sort of to the top 4 just around the reds, but then, you start to worry if you're just trying to be too precise for the sake of it when you're talking about that. So
yeah, like you ever, I know you're set up pretty good here, but maybe this is me being out of curling for quite a while here, but would you ever think about just peeling the center guard here being up 1? I know you're set up really well, but it's pretty tough for them to...
I think that has to be in the conversation. It's tough. It's one of those situations where you look at it, I think it's really tough as a player, and when you're in the process of the game, you've gone 6th then, and you're looking at this situation like you have the chance to really
to end the game, basically. If you make
you have your you have your foot on their throats. All you need to do is press down, right? You sort of have the chance to end it, and I think it's really hard to put that in your brain. I think peeling would be a very good call actually, but it's difficult when you're in the situation to not only see that, but to convince yourself that it's actually the right thing to do. Basically any good draw, and I think that's probably pretty good too, although not perfect. But
you might be able to get rid of, well, you're getting rid of 2 for sure, and having your shooter stay there, right?
Yep. And then depending on where the shooter spins, your Gosgens is sort of just starting to get out of it. Would still have a lot of work to do, but yeah, a good one here could really change the complexion of this end.
Yeah, at this point you gotta move that top top red one that's on the center line, don't you? Like that one's got to be moved, or at least jiggle that one top 4 foot.
I don't think. I mean, just sort of hitting and rolling on top is good, but it's not as much damage as you'd like to do. You definitely want to get 2 reds moving.
They get this to the center line. Yeah, it's a good shot. Now that yellow, red is almost lined up to possibly, might look like a jam here, but it all depends what the drag effect does on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at, you could still peel the center.
Kind of what I was
thinking
right there,
you could blast the yellow, top 12, and you sort of get rid of both yellows. You might leave sort of a hit and roll behind for Wouter, but there's a lot fewer rocks in play, and you're sort of playing more or less for a risk-free deuce if you're Benny Kapp in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the first shot call, you thought there was a draw, but I think that makes, this is actually a situation that the team Yanagisawa got himself into last night, is that they had it set up where the angle was kind of actually going to take out Team Bruner's stone, but they elected to draw top button instead of hit and roll off the side Bruner rock, and they actually made the shot for him. Now then Bruner could hit their run back wherever they wanted. Basically they had all 11 inches to hit the rock to make the run back double. So I think the draw in that instance would have made that run back even easier. So that's a great shot there. Got rid of both yellows. Possibly a hit and roll, or even just a freeze at this point. The out-turn freeze to that one back 4 foot is probably right there. Would be.
Yeah, I'd look at the freeze a lot longer than the hit. I mean, the hit and roll is definitely there. It's pretty. You'd have to play pretty tight to the one top 8, but definitely there. But even if you make it, your rock's back 4. Benny could come down, make a corner freeze, and you're still in a lot of trouble, right? Then you're probably freezing back, but. The freeze, I guess, is just a bit more risky. Like you're putting the game on the line a bit more, but
I think you're probably pretty happy at the moment that.
Yeah, giving up. Yeah, you're pretty happy the way things were looking 2 rocks ago. But when you stop and just take a look at the scoreboard in a vacuum, giving up 2 here is probably game. Like you're probably not coming back all that often from that. So I do think you have to play a little bit more aggressive here. They've decided to play the hit. I wouldn't have been surprised to see them play the freeze, though, and play with that bit more risk to try and generate something a bit stronger here.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you throw it T-line or even top 4, it's going to make a pretty tough shot for the Kapp team. And then you have the same shot over again. And if you miss it again, then they probably hit and roll out and you have another shot. So you probably have 3 shots at making a perfect freeze here. If he made the perfect freeze, oof. Kapp with his last one, if it went down that path, would probably have to play the in-turn draw for 1, so it would be back into that forced situation. So, yeah, and this one they're going to hit, roll open.
Yeah, and they're not going to quite get there. So you'll probably just see Benny Kapp hit and roll to the open side, and then it's really all up to Wouter. When do you decide to play that hero draw around the rock top 8?
Yeah.
I think you have to. I don't think giving up 2 here is good in any world. So you might see them take it on unless they see something else that might be able to cut them down. But
once again, we're here at the Hub International Alberta Curling Series Major. Myself here, Matt Yo, with Matt Hall, doing some commentating for you guys here. Pleasure to have you guys all on YouTube and Facebook. Please subscribe, like, share, all that type of good stuff for social media, as well as James Gordon there on the cameras at Curling Stadium. Thanks, Jamesy, for all your hard work and dedication to the sport, and Jerry Gertz, the Curling Zone, for everything that you guys have done over the last couple of years to bring this live stream and broadcast to life. So it's been fantastic.
And here it is. You know, that little bit of that rock now being on the tee line makes it difficult to hit and roll underneath just because it's that much closer to that rock top 8. But I think the call here is probably to throw almost like just straight throw draw around that rock top 8. And if you're like back 4 weight and you bump it and you just sort of hit and roll behind, that works just as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's throwing a little more than draw. Trying to get it to move over now. It looks like it's almost like a hacker.
Yeah, I thought with where the broom came down, it looked more like for draw weight, but
yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think he might have just got caught a little bit aggressive on the weight. Now, a dead nose hit for Team Kapp here. They're then you got the intern draw, but then they have a real short angle run with the rock that they're throwing right now, depending on where the rock comes into. But then you're going to have the intern draw here, more than likely, to try to get the steal. But
yeah, like you said, with a nose hit here, that intern draw becomes much scarier. Maybe you'd have to look at the run back to try and get a blank, I guess, but that's not ideal either. So hitting and rolling out to the wing into the open wouldn't be bad either. This has got some curling to do.
Working on it hard. That's a good shot. So now you can't even hit and roll for shot rock, I don't think. Be very tough. Maybe.
It's tough. I think you could maybe throw, well, you'd definitely be hitting the backside of that red top 8. So you'd have to throw enough weight to have it like wiggle through and down into the forefoot. So with the amount of weight you'd have to throw, I don't know if there is enough space past the center guard, but
that draw around the top 8 one to the top button actually is that obviously puts the game on the line, but like you said here, if red gets 2, it's probably game over anywhere as well. But that intern draw right top 4-foot top button, I thought the angle run would be pretty easy, but actually looking at it from the overhead, it looks like it'd be very, very thin. So, but they've elected for like you said, a more of a heavier hit and roll where it comes off the backside of the red rock to get shot rock.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the weight call is, but I was thinking, like, even if you throw something like a control hit weight, you might not get fully underneath, fully buried, but if you even just get it like half buried underneath, it does make it tough for Mark Muskatovitz to hang around with his last round. So if you could do that and somehow get a force out of it, that'd be pretty good.
There might be a timeout coming here maybe, but we'll see what they elect to get down to the other end and see what the front end likes. And they may have put another shot or maybe a different weight call, to your point, in the skipper's mind here.
Are they talking about a freeze in there? I don't think that makes sense.
No, freeze doesn't get you shot. Like, and maybe they don't mind giving up 2. Like maybe in their mind they, give up 2. You have a chance to get 3 in the 7th with the no ticks and everything. You're probably not throwing center guards, but and then maybe in the extra or in the 8th end with the no tick rule, they can steal. But again, if you look at your old percentages there, it's probably not real high.
It's around 6% if you give up a 2 here to win the game. So not good. The broom's in a slightly different position now, so maybe same shot, but just less weight, and try to get as much underneath as you can.
Yeah, to your point, maybe like a control weight, or maybe like just a little bit of a upboard scenario.
Yeah, just flop underneath as much as you can, and hope Mark isn't able to stick around with his last rock. I guess might be your best hope.
Trying to work on it. So it's going to give a nose hit for Team Kapp to head up 3 points to the 7th end. Probably a good control weight here with that broom.
Just nice and easy. Nothing. We've thrown this spot a couple times already this end, so whatever you know.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning this in one of the other broadcasts, is if you looked at this as a junior team or a Tuesday, Wednesday men's league, ladies league, they're not throwing it 100 miles an hour, giving it to their sweepers to make sure that you hit the sticks. So up 5-2, heading into the 7th end here at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Hub International Men's Major.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow. Protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
And we're back here picking up play in the 7th end between Team Benny Kapp of Germany and Team Wouter Gosgens of the Netherlands. Team Kapp with a 5-2 lead after fairly well executed last end. Really, they had no issues to worry about. Team Gosgens was not able to execute on some of their hit and roll chances, so fairly open deuce, and they now have a pretty significant advantage coming into the 7th end of play. throw both of their first 2 rocks into the rings, and Gosgens going to ignore and ask their lead Tobias Vandenherk to go around the corner guard. And you're sort of behind, you're very much behind the 8 ball here if you're Team Netherlands. We talked last end about, in general, teams in this situation only win about 6% of the time if you're the Netherlands team, but you can't think about that too much when you're in the game. Of course, they probably don't know the exact number. They'll know they're in trouble, but they won't know the exact number in the game. You just have to focus on executing your next 16 rocks. 8 this end, 8 next end, and if Team Kapp plays well and makes their rocks, you're probably still going to lose either way, but try to make 16 rocks, put some pressure on Team Kapp, and maybe generate some opportunities for yourself to get 2 or maybe even 3 this end to get yourself back in it. Shots like that, though, aren't going to cut it, though, for Team Gosgens. Just touching that guard and rolling off into the open. You really wanted it buried or at least 2 guards over there. Looks like they're playing some kind of tick on that corner guard. Move it over and roll into the rings. Interesting. You don't see ticks on corner guards all that often. Maybe just a little bit heavier than they would have wanted. Decided to play it safe and just go by. Push that redstone out. Doesn't really change all that much. Team Gosgens still not really in the situation they want to be in, although they do have 2 corner guards up. Some opportunities to maybe make some freezes or some small flops in behind and give themselves some chances here. Second for the Dutch team out of Zoetermeer, Netherlands, is Hop van Dorp. Used to skip his own team back in the day, and then I believe made the move to this Gosgens team, joining, might have played Vice for a little while, and then eventually moved to the second position. This is kind of the shot calling you'd expect to see from this Kapp team. They definitely could make a play at that rock in the rings. It's fairly exposed. You could play a little board weight or hit and roll behind, but with the score the way it is, you just have to walk up, keep peeling some guards. If you give up 2, you're still pretty happy. So just keep ripping the guards. Don't really give too many opportunities for Team Gosgens to set up for something more than 2.
Yeah, and this is probably the end that they just throw everything at the kitchen sink at them here and hopefully try to get their deuce. Update here at Team Sluchinski. Brunner got 1 in the 6th end. So Sluchinski is up 3-2. Playing in the 7th with the hammer. All right, walk up there, and he's taking a look at the double peel, but you know, that one might, depending on how you hit that side yellow, it might be coming into the house. Real thin double peel is what he's looking at.
And you don't, if you fly by, you don't get the one in the rings either. So this has to be made fairly precisely. Of course, getting rid of both guards, and if one rolls into the rings, that's not the worst either. It gets rid of all the guards and pulls all the play down deep where you might make a double anyways. Oh, wow! Gets them both and gets the perfect angle to come back and get the one in the rings too. So probably a little lucky if you're Team Kapp, but what to say, you got to be good to be lucky. So made it pretty close and just got a little beneficial angle coming back into the rings to pick the one out as well.
Looked back at Team Bruner on the sheet beside him and kind of did the old shoulder shrug and laughed, eh?
So now Team Gosgens has to pretty much start playing the suicide game. Make these freezes, put the game on the line. You know, if you don't execute, you're probably not going to get a 2 out of this. But even if you do, good shots by Kapp, you're probably still coming out of this with a force.
Fairly good draw, just lost a little bit of the angle on it, but we'll be trying to rip that out here. Nice shot here. Well-curled game. Like I said, it seems like they've had, not complete control, but especially ever since the skipper made that unreal hit and roll in the fourth end to get their one, it's been pretty much all Kapp ever since.
Yeah, that fourth end was really sort of the only time they've been in some trouble, and Mark Muscatovic came up with a great hit and roll, and that's sort of been it. The Gosgens team has certainly tried. They've made some good shots and tried to give themselves some chances, but just the ability of this German team right now is just proved to be a bit too much, and obviously game's still not over, but looks to be like handshakes are going to be coming out fairly soon. They'll likely play the eighth end, but
real good freeze there, absolutely. Nice shutout there on the live chat on the YouTube. It says watching from Central Texas. Welcome. Working on this one hard, and scoots are out. Great shot. The amount of weight that you're a very competitive and high-level curler, and all you guys can throw nowadays is absolutely astounding. So those freezes now are, they're great shots. Probably one of the toughest shots to make in curling is a perfect freeze, but it doesn't take a whole lot to get it out of the house anymore.
Yeah, I mean, really, with the way rocks are nowadays and the ice and how hard people can throw it, a wide open freeze, there's really no way to make it where you can't probably just pick it out. You probably need either some kind of guard or some kind of other rock in the rings that's gonna take an angle away from the other team to really sort of be truly safe. Otherwise, it's just so difficult to make those perfectly where the other team can't just run it down and blast it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes the ice maker side of me saying again is that, what I'd love to, in sports and in curling, there's a lot of technology going into broom heads. There's a lot of technology going into performance and all of that type of stuff. And, golf with the drivers and how the ball reacts, everything like that. I'd love to see a standard on curling rocks on the striking bands itself. So for those people watching online and whatnot, that the narrower the striking band, the more bounce, let's say, the rock has, the more action it'll have when it hits, and the wider the striking band, the less bounce or the less action the rocks have when they hit each other. So one of the things that I always said that now the interim CEO of Curling Canada, I've talked to Danny Labrew a lot about this, is that, like curling rocks kind of need to start being a lot like golf balls in the let's say in the professional ranks, where they all kind of standardized size of striking bands in national events and world events. And what I would like to see, obviously for viewing public and everything like that, they love to see a lot of the action on the rocks. But what I'd love to see is you put one right on the button and you have one dead frozen, absolutely perfect to it. It'd be nice to see where you can't get that rock out. Fantastic shot by Team Kapp there. Wow.
Yeah.
Run back's ticket.
Yeah. I mean, the run back to remove that yellow at this level really isn't a difficult shot, but to stick it dead right behind that is impressive.
Yeah, now he's got to do the wide in turn draw to the pin for one.
Yeah, and if he doesn't make this, you very well might see some handshakes here.
Lone Star Curling Club, a member of Austin, Texas. That's awesome. Thanks for joining in the live chat. Love to go to Texas. That's a place in the States that I haven't been. I'd love to get down there, and it's such a beautiful country down there. Ever need any ice help, give me a shout. All right, in turn draw. See if I can get a time on this one.
What are we looking for here? Around 14.5 or so?
Yeah, I'm thinking, seventh end would probably come down a little bit here, so probably 14.5, 14.4, somewhere in there. Kind of watching it as they slide down here at the moment.
Yeah, you never like to see that inside sweeper sort of backing off like that. That seems, now they're trying to get it to curl to hopefully catch the backing.
Yeah, that was 14.3. So actually, speed's been pretty good here. Unless I'm over in the corner, so I might have hit it a little bit late. But looks like it's a steal of one. Probably going to be Velcro, being down 4. But being in the semifinal, maybe they throw him back.
Yeah, 4 is sort of the tipping point. I've seen teams shake. I've seen teams, especially because it's the end of the weekend. If you're going to lose, you don't have to play again anyway. So they might just play it out. It'll likely only be about 6 or 7 more rocks. So for both teams.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
What job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
All right, we're back at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major, brought to you by Hub International Insurance. Team Kapp over Team Gosgens, 6-2, heading in the 8th end. Fantastic game here played by Team Kapp. You know, not total control, but the skipper made an unreal shot in the 4th end, a hit and roll to the button against a couple. Without that shot, the game would have been very, very tight. But since that shot, I'm hard pressed to remember where Team Kapp actually missed a shot. So my name is Matt Yo, commentating the rest of the game here for you. Matt Hall had to step away for an appointment, so he could be back in time for the final. I'd like to thank him for his insight and great communication and conversation over the past 7 ends. Huge shout out to Hub International Insurance for being our sponsor for the weekend, as well as Curling Zone, Curling Stadium for broadcasting the event, and the Beaumont Curling Club for hosting the event. So curlbeaumont.ca is the website if you want to reach out to see what the curling club's all about, as well as here in the city of Beaumont. It's a phenomenal little city just south of Edmonton, and we are super excited and glad to see all this international teams and unreal curling happening in our community. So down for electing to throw some center guards, mostly because the no-tick rule. They can't be removed or hit out at all, or even moved off that center line. So now they're going to try to get as many rocks behind those guards as possible. Couple notes, the final will be at 2 p.m. Western Standard Time, so 5 p.m. Atlantic Time for those of you watching in New Brunswick. Klaus, thank you very much for the reach out. It's been a pleasure to commentate a bunch of games here this weekend. We've been absolutely spoiled with the level of competition, the level of play here at this event this weekend. It's been absolutely fantastic. A little update here on sheet 5 is Team Sluchinski is up 4-2 on Team Bruner coming into the 8th end. So a good shot there, got rid of a couple. Team Gosgens is going to get another one in there. They need 4. All right, we're gonna see a few peels made here. Now, team from the Netherlands is gonna have to get all 4 rocks in the house here with the last to live 5, and have an opportunity to push this into an extra end. Huge shout out to our sponsors, hacktohouse.com. Reach out for all your curling and ice manufacturing needs. Broom, shoes, blade sharpenings here in Western Canada, up in Edmonton, Alberta. hacktohouse.com. Tim's Ice Manufacturing. the leading in ice contracting here in the Edmonton area. Ice advice for your sensors and all of your data needs for your ice makers needing to make the ice surface as great as possible for the athletes. Boston Pizza here in Beaumont, Alberta. Sea Change in Beaumont, Alberta. As well as all of our local sponsors here at the Curling Club. You can see them on the live stream up on the boards and the scoreboards and in the ice. Also, Asham Curling Supplies is also a sponsor of the Alberta Curling Series. So head out to hacktohouse.com for all of your Asham needs, as well as anything else that you need for your curling team. All right, peel the center guard off here, and then they just got to make 2 stones removed from the house. Oof, a little bit of a mess there. Lucky they didn't tap that yellow one into the house. Being up 4, they need to remove 2 more rocks out of play to win the game. The team from the Netherlands here is thinking about drawing one around that guard that they just moved over to the corner. They do have a split opportunity of that rock as well, which would be an interesting to maybe actually call that shot right now, but that could be for the skip's first shot. Great shot around the corner guard. Team never says die. I think they played just about every game possible this week. They were down in the C and slogged it out there. Won the C final, then won the quarterfinal in the last night at 7 p.m. In an absolute thrilling game against Team Casper from the United States. Came down to the last rock, and yeah, that was an unbelievable game. Great shot making. Now we're going to see a double tried here by Team Kapp. And a jam, so still alive. Gonna draw another run around the corner guard. If this was me, I'd probably try to split that one in the house, because if you get around that corner guard, you're gonna have to get rid of that red one to score 4, I would think. Update on Sheet 5, Team Sluchinski against Team Bruner, the other semifinal we have this morning. It looks like Team Sluchinski has a peel weight shot to run Team Bruner out of stones to win the game and head to the final. All right, well, it's gonna make Team Kapp throw their last rock, and it's gonna be a little bit tricky. They're lying 3, I believe. You know, all the rocks are in good positions for the team from the Netherlands. If they're looking at a out-turn freeze, maybe a tap back to eliminate one of the stones. They have to be pretty careful with this one. You know, if they overcurl it and somehow tap in that corner yellow into the rings, you know, the team from the Netherlands might have a shot for 5 in the win here. So have to be fairly careful with this shot. Great shot. Good double. Game over. Team Kapp versus Team Stachinski in the Alberta Curling Series Major. Brought to you by Hub International Insurance. We'll see everyone back at 2 o'clock Mountain Western Time for the championship game.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow. Protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.